What do you do when your world just completely falls apart? Today, we're going to dive into a story about finding this defiant hope right at rock bottom. It's a journey from total, crushing despair to a radically new way of seeing things, and believe it or not, it all kicks off with a single cry.
Our story starts right here, with one of the most desolate cries you can imagine. The prophet Micah, who was kind of like a spiritual commentator for his time, takes one look at the world around him, and all he can say is, "Woe is me." Now, this isn't just someone having a bad day, right? This is the sound of a heart hitting absolute rock bottom.
And that raw emotion brings us to a question we all face at some point. When everything has fallen apart, when you look around and see absolutely nothing good, where do you turn? Where do you point your gaze? To answer that, let's first take a look at the world that made Micah cry out like this. You see, to really get the hope in this story, you first have to understand the hopelessness. Micah was living in a society that was just completely broken, from the very top all the way down to the bottom.
Micah paints this picture with a really powerful metaphor. He says it's like showing up to a vineyard after the harvest is already over. You're desperate, searching for just one grape, maybe one fig, but there's nothing left. The land is spiritually barren. Goodness, justice, any kind of honesty, it's all been picked clean.
And this breakdown, it's not just a few bad apples. No, it's systemic. The corruption starts right at the top, with leaders and judges who are all on the take. But that poison seeps into everything. Trust completely evaporates, between neighbors, between friends, even inside families. The very fabric of society has just come completely undone.
And just think about that image for a second. A briar hedge. You know, those thorny bushes? The closer you get, the more it tears you up. Micah is saying that in his world, even the so-called best people, the most upright ones, will only end up hurting you. There's literally nowhere safe to turn.
Okay, so we're at rock bottom. Total collapse. But right here, in the middle of all that darkness, something absolutely incredible happens. It's a pivot, a decisive shift that changes the entire story. Now this is the crucial part. Nothing on the outside changes for Micah. The corruption is still there, the betrayal is still real, the darkness is still completely overwhelming. The only thing that changes is his gaze, his focus. He makes a conscious, deliberate choice to look in a completely different direction.
And this is the declaration that changes everything. But as for me, right in the middle of all the chaos, he plants his feet and basically says, despite everything I see around me, I am going to look to the Lord. I will wait for God. He's yanking his hope away from this broken world and placing it squarely on God. And just look at the whiplash here, the immediate impact of that one shift. His language totally transforms. He goes from the pit of despair, woe is me, back in verse 1, to this incredible defiant confidence in verse 8, though I fall, I will rise. It's the same guy, in the exact same dark situation, but now he's plugged into a completely new source of strength.
This is really the core metaphor of the whole thing. He doesn't deny the darkness. He fully acknowledges it. He says, yeah, I am sitting in darkness, but then he declares that even in that darkness, God himself will be his light. See, hope isn't the absence of darkness, it's the presence of a light right in the middle of it.
But okay, this newfound hope, it's not just some fuzzy feeling, right? It actually lays out a clear path, a blueprint for real restoration.
The process starts with something tough. Brutal honesty. Step 1 is confronting the root of the problem head-on. I have sinned. Micah doesn't just point fingers. He owns his part and his community's part in the mess. Step 2 is all about trust. Trusting that the very same God he sinned against will be the one to pull him out into the light. And then, step 3, and this is so important, the hope starts to look outward. He starts dreaming again for his community, for the day its broken walls will finally be rebuilt.
Now, this is a really important clarification. This hope isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card, not at all. Micah fully expects to face the consequences for what's happened, but he trusts that God, as the ultimate, perfect judge, will plead his case and, in the end, bring about true justice and restoration.
And you can literally watch this hope grow, like ripples in a pond. It starts as this deeply personal conviction. The Lord will be my light. But it doesn't stay there. It flows outward to the restoration of his city and the rebuilding of its walls. And then it just keeps expanding into this incredible global vision. It seems that genuine hope gives you a security that lets you look beyond your own survival. True hope, it seems, is never just for us.
So let's pull all these threads together. What is the big takeaway, the lasting message from Micah's incredible journey from despair to a hope that could change the world?
You see, Micah's hope wasn't just for his own time. His prophecies famously pointed forward to a future ruler who would come from the little town of Bethlehem. Now, for Christians, this points directly to Jesus, who is called the light of the world. In that view, Micah's very personal hope for a divine light finds its ultimate answer.
And that brings everything right back to us right here, right now. Micah's world completely fell apart, but he found a way forward by making a very deliberate choice about where to fix his gaze. In the middle of our own challenges, our own darkness, that same choice is sitting right in front of us. So the question is, where is your gaze directed today?